And we are back with another episode of Skill Issue. I am here with it's WTC season. So one, I'm very excited, but I am here with, as always, my handsome, my lovely, my delightful co-host, Tate. You were
Man, made
worried,
me
you were
blush.
wondering who I was going to go for there, weren't you?
Until you said handsome, and then I was like, oh, it's definitely Ollie.
Well. And then, as Tate alluded to, we also have our good friend on and friend of the show, Ollie. How you doing, Ollie?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Chris. Thanks for having me back on.
Excellent, yeah. Congrats, you killed it this past weekend at a Teams event. So we'll definitely talk about that a bit later on. But congrats, man! Like I was following like every game, I was like, this man's just winning. It was awesome. Yeah.
Yes, it was good. I got the belt. Very, very fortunate. Lockie wanted it, but the team convinced him to give it to me on the condition that I wore it through the airport security. Tried to get it through security. They didn't like that, and then wore it the entire flight home. It is probably the most miserable flight I've ever experienced, and I've flown 30 hours straight from Amsterdam to Singapore to home. But having this dig into your stomach for 5 hours was truly something else. But I wanted it, and I got it. I was very, very happy.
Oh, that is very cool. That is very cool. And Tate, how's your last week been?
It's been good. Yeah, work's been crazy. I played a lot of Warhammer though, which has been good. And then I think I'll have played like 8 or 9 games by the end of this week, which is cool.
Jeez, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Chris?
I have been very good actually. It snowed here in Dunedin yesterday, so that was pretty fun. Like the entire Dunedin was just white, which was kind of crazy. Like it hasn't snowed since I moved down here, or like not in town at least. But like I woke up and I went outside and I was like, what does that sound weird? And I was like, it's just white. I was like, oh, so that was kind of fun. Yes.
The entirety of Dunedin is always white. That's...
Man, this man's so real right now. He's so real.
Is your area like set up for snow, or is it like
no? There was so many car crashes outside. Like I also live at the top of a hill, but I'm right at the edge of the hill, and I heard like 5 cars like hit into other cars going down the hill.
Oh no!
But it was entertaining for me because I could work from home, so I was just like, cool. I'm just gonna be home, and I'm just not gonna move. And we'll be good. We'll be happy. But yeah, so that was definitely it was neat. It was fun. Went for a walk with the wife and stuff like that. So that was really cool. It's my birthday tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. So that'll be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a whole year older. I get to work on my birthday, but that's fine. They're like,
So
do you want your birthday off work? And I was like, I really don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But now, so that'll be nice. And I did get a game in on the weekend actually. I got to play a really silly list, but a very fun list, which was Raven Guard Headhunter Lance, which I thought with the new, is it Vengeful Lance, the Vengeful Task Force, the new one that came out with Equatorial Horde. I wanted to give it a go, and I thought like what faction has the best like jump pack infantry that gets super oath, and I was like Raven Guard because you get the 2 good characters, and like you get Shrike with the like lone op, and then you get Shan that's just a baller on his own. And it actually like turbos those characters because the detachment gives just reroll 1s to hit when you make a charge move. And they hit on 2s, and like Aethon having like sus 2s just makes them like actually slam, which is pretty cool. And then I had played Headhunter Lance because I just love the detachment. And having Super Oath for the Redeemers was just crazy. Being able to pop reroll wounds on a Redeemer that's wounding on 4s felt very good. I was like, cool, I just kill you, I guess. That's neat. So that was quite fun. But yeah, the thing that I realized the most from that game though is the strat that's you can use it as many times as you want, which is just unbattle shock a unit, and you can pick it on a unit that is battle shocked. Is crazy.
That's really nice.
That strat is nuts. Yeah. Like the fact that it's 1 DP and like it's not restricted to like fly units, it's just any Adeptus Astartes unit. You can be like, cool, that's now not battle shocked. It's crazy. Like, and you can like psy up your opponents because it's any phase as well, I'm pretty sure. So you can just be like, doop, 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 and just like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So that one was pretty fun. So I definitely think there might be something there with, maybe not with Headhunter Lance. I think there is something there because it's fun and it's like fast guns are always good. But I think that I think it's Vengeful Strikes, the Space Marine attachment. It's just, I think it's actually got some pretty good source. It's got like a sustained lethal strat. It's got like a +1 strength strat, and then it's got that strat, which I was like, these are all good. Like they're all like things that you want. Yeah, no, it was good. Did you play any games on the weekend, Tate?
Yeah, I played 5 games over the weekend. Or six. So I played Demons 3 times,
Oof.
which was sick. And then I played Grey Knights, Death Guard, and World Eaters as well. For a whole mix of wins and losses, but
Sure.
yeah, it was good. Like I'm mainly pretty happy with the list I'm playing. I think the one big takeaway is actually how I've been deploying it. I think I need more
Yeah.
sort of slightly more presence on the board to start off with, but
Yep.
haven't really changed the list all too much. But it's been good. I think I've been having a bit of a thing where, like, because I'm learning a new edition, I've been quite static in what I've been doing. Like I've been
Mhm.
sort of like, this is the concept for the list, execute, and I've not really been playing it that dynamically, which is
Right.
kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've been good. I've also watched a whole heap of people playing the like various WTC lists on TTS and stuff, which has been cool.
Yeah. Nice.
So I've watched Chad play the French cob list like 4 times now or something like
Oh,
that.
that's such a. I guess Chad's not going over, but say like that's a bit baller one for Team New Zealand to be practicing. They just practice
I
the
think Chad
French
just wants to play
matchups.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, all right, guys, we're gonna practice France, Poland, Sweden, but
USA.
USA, Australia. That's it.
Yeah.
That's-
It's so good.
That's the big
I
dogs.
do think that is always a problem with GSC, right? Of like on the weekend giving advice to teammates versing it. It's like, look, if he puts all 16 UFOs up, which is typical, and then a bunch of the other stuff, it's like he's not going to have much on the board, man. Like if you just bum rush him, he's having to like land the neophytes all in his deployment zone, and you just
and then they're
control the
just
board.
up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very. So I've designed my list to be able to like a lot of the rest of the list is being able to create space for itself. But I think I just need to try a little bit harder to do that. But yeah.
Yep. It's like a lot of the times with like lists, right? Like you might actually have a strong list and you're like, oh, this list just isn't strong enough. But it's just how you play it is actually more important. Like you get to a point where like 100 points here and there isn't actually going to change the list. What's going to change it is your play pattern. Like I fall into that trap sometimes where I'm like, oh, obviously I just need to like tweak this thing. Where it's like, actually, no, I need to tweak tweak myself, not the list.
Yeah. Which I think
the
it's
one tweaking.
yeah. Which also goes into the whole, you want to make sure that you are actually getting more reps with the list as is to figure that out, rather than like, I'm just going to say that it was down to this list decision. I'll change 200 points and then like pretend the other game didn't exist.
Yeah, that does happen a lot, which is super bad. You should never do that. I do it all the time, but you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, cool. And then Ollie, so we have your event. So you went to an event this past weekend, a Teams event, which is kind of very topical at the moment with all the WTC stuff happening. So give us a little breakdown of the event itself and what you and your team brought.
So this was WATC, the Western Australia Team Championship, run by the lovely Michael Bask. Every year, I think this was their 11th year in running it. Which was really cool. 6-man teams. Was really cool to see a bunch of people. There was a New South Wales team that like a friend of myself and you, Chris, as well, Sam Lemon was on.
Nice.
And South Australia sent their team, basically their like NZTC team, led by like Napier and Sam Pope and all that. And what was even really cool was there was a team Singapore. So these were a bunch of people that flew over from Singapore to play that were really excited. They'd been talked about becoming a bunch, and Western Australia, pretty easy for them to get to, funnily enough. So this is something that they were looking on, and I think they came 4th, just pipped from 3rd. So they did pretty well.
Nice.
144 people,
Oof.
like 22 teams or something like that. It was very cool. We took Emperor's Children on 2 Defilers, run by Lockie,
Nice.
like pretty basic. Uh, uh, CSM like murder talons list with like a Defiler and Huron and some Raiders and stuff.
Cool.
Green Tide taken hold Orcs. Then we took Ret Cad Tau, which was like the max amount of suits you could possibly take. It was something like 27 to 31 suits. It was like, you know, 3 times 3 of everything with like all of them led by commanders, basically.
Based.
And then we took Disruption Admech.
Ooh.
That's cool.
So Jordan was the friend I stayed with, and he brought the Disruption, and he maybe bitched and moaned about Disruption Primary the entire time. A lot of these people had, you know, lives where they've only played a couple of games, and basically Crosby, our CSM player, was going to play Disruption Demons, didn't like the balance plat the slate that sort of nerfed demons a little bit, so he wanted to jump ship. Jordan's like, okay, I'll take Disruption. And then all weekend he's like, this is the worst thing ever. This primary is awful. He found a good balance in fighting the mirror, so he would always try and get the Disruption mirror to have a sort of game. But he despised this and had held a grudge over Crosby for putting him on Disruption. And then I was priority assets just at Votan.
Nice. Yep.
A very unfun, very, very boring list, but man, it just does work. It just did everything it needed to do. And fired on all cylinders, which was really good.
Awesome. So what disposition did you double up on?
It was priority assets.
Yep. Classic. Yep. Okay. It's I think it is the strongest one to double up on. That and Take and Hold, I think, are both pretty strong when it comes to like when you have double ups. Like obviously in 8s you have 3 double ups, but in like 6s and stuff like that, you only get the one. I think it is probably one of the strong ones. I think for 6s though, you don't really like. It's just like flex spot, right? Like I don't think it super matters, right? Like
we definitely took it as flex spot.
Yeah.
I think on that as well is that like that was I got given the like flex spot because I was very like at the time of trying to lock in dispositions was in a very spiral mentality, and they're like just take the flex slot, man. Like figure out what you want to do. And I'm like, all right, I'll learn a priority. But like, it does prove that it's. I think it was very funny that we all started when we were first figuring it out. We're like, all right, who's the second purge? We were very much locked in that we want second purge. That was our thing. And as more data came through, more people were playing, the data selecting everyone. Everyone's like, we don't really need second purge. Just take second anything. It's just not disruption. They're very more like, don't take the second disruption. None of us are Tyranids. And so it was very much like, do you want a second take and hold? Did you want a second priority? And yeah, and then it just sort of slotted in really well.
Where's he going?
Oh, sorry, just turning my little heater on. Yeah, that's very cool. I think that's a pretty cool comp. And then we don't need to go round by round, but how did you guys like go throughout the event?
Yeah, we went. It was the first 2 rounds were very like I think you could, and on the scoring were pretty close. So we needed like 64. We were told we needed 68, but we found out during it that it was like 64 for the win. The first round was feeling a bit touch and go, where a couple of people were sort of close and going down. I managed to get a big win, and Lockie managed to get a big win, and then sort of the smaller, just like, all right, just pushed us up. Which was good. It's like, all right, so we got like a 70 round. Round 2 was pretty close. Like we got the 68 like on the dot, which is what we thought we needed, but we had a little bit of leverage. They were a very good team. Unfortunately, one of the players versus the freebooter, Crosby versus the freebooter Orcs, and the guy accidentally played the rule as an old rule where they had the reactive move instead of the flat 6 fall back. It's played as a reactive move, and Crosby made some small errors of, all right, you've got scouts, let me infiltrate in front of you. All right, now we go back to, first turn roll-off. I'm going to reposition, and he just picked up his infiltrators doing it just on, autopilot. That's what you do. And then it's like, all right, cool. He went first. He won top of one, scouted, moved everything, and then just penned him in, which is very unfortunate. Round 3, I don't even know what happened with round 3. It seemed very unfortunate that we went into this team. I think, we dropped 8 points, or nine points out of a possible 120. Which was like a classic, like, I'm like, I played my game, like, I get a 16, I'm like, oh, that's all right. I did it for the team. And I look around and they're like, yeah, man, we've gotten 320s. Like, we won the round like an hour ago. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then the game into South Australia was really good, but we had some good pairings into them. Got some key matchups, some small wins, and I was able to get a big win into Orcs, just knowing that matchup very well. And unlike our match, Chris, of like, oh, I've got some Berserkers and some Hearthguard, and the Hearthguard do a lot. I'm like, well, I've got 20 Hearthguard now, and they're really supported by this detachment.
Yeah.
So it was just like blitzing. And also, I would want to highlight maybe the most criminal role I've seen in my life. Beast Snagger Boss goes in, it's Big Hunt, all the buffs are in my land fort. Beast Snagger Boss is 3 damage. All right, rolls to get hits, crit 5s explode. He gets 14 wounds. All right, 4+ dev wounds, 3 damage. Rolls it. My land fort takes 9 dev wounds. That's it. The fort lives. The fort proceeds to just Baneblade, fall back and shoot guys around the table, just leaving off to the great sunset into its deployment zone from there. Like, it was just that's like, okay. I sort of planned my entire next turn around not having the fort, but now I do. So now I can do even crazier stuff, which allowed me just to push my advantage so much further than what it should have.
Yeah.
And then our last round was into basically the other half of the WA and ZTC team. Adam's Angels had Courtney, had Harrison,
Nice.
and we drew into that round. I think the bottom half of a draw as well. A lot of games got flipped where it was not sort of expected.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very close with some clutch. Like, I was able to get a 16 to Nids, basically of Buri, making an 11-inch charge into 6 warriors and a prime and killing half the unit. And then everyone else, and so then we ended up 4 wins, 1 draw.
Nice.
And clutch the win as the only undefeated team, which was really cool.
Well done. That's awesome. That's a great run. And yourself, I think you ended up coming second overall in score, right?
I did. Little miffed. I was first for so long, and then Simon Ward, who I did get to meet, he was a very lovely guy on Custodies Purge. I believe picked me right at the very end by like a few points on the like strength of schedule. But I managed to go. I 5 wins, 3 16s, 2 20s, and it was a legendary run.
And people say Votan's bad. It's crazy, man. Such a strong army.
Person says that, not people.
Yeah. One person says that, and it's in this call, and then I get, I've been sent at least 4 times this week of the Listhammer stats, where Votan had like a 57% win rate like this weekend, a like 4-week run of 54 to 53% win rate, and I'm like, I'm gonna start tanking. I'm gonna start going to events and tanking, so GW doesn't get any ideas.
This is the Tate strategy. As soon as your army gets buffed, I got to start losing. I got to.
I can't let I want to keep riding this, man. If they keep doing monthly balance patches, they're going to put land forts up to like 280 for 1. Like, I can't take that.
Yeah, that's like 1.5 Keeper of Secrets. That's crazy.
Damn, that's like 1.5 Shalaxes. Cool. Oh well, yeah, absolutely well done, man. That's awesome. Like, makes me feel a little bit better losing to you the other weekend, because obviously you're just a god. So how can I beat a god?
No, thank you. It is.
Am I in the
crazy to,
Odyssey?
like, I'm pulling up like the Warhammer app to put in games, and it's just all Votan, and it's like the one loss to Chad, and then like 6 games later was like another like loss by there, and I'm like, I do seem to be winning a lot with Votan. Maybe the spiral wasn't necessary. Maybe the complete.
Yeah,
Never question
yeah.
yourself, King. You needed that spiral to get here.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'll say. I need to be the underdog. I need to think I'm the underdog, even though my track record is like crazy. It's like I need to be like, no, I'm bad at this game, man. I need to put every score at 12 so that my after event review looks crazy when it's like, yeah, you punched above every one of your matrices, like super hard.
How are you +7 every game?
I
Uh,
turned this game down as an 8, so that I'm +8 for that one.
Man, it's crazy. Yeah. It's awesome. Like being 9-1 in tournament games in 11th. That's pretty crazy, man. Like that's a pretty good start. Like
Yeah.
start of edition statistic right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very well done.
I need to stop. I need to quit. I can just be like, cool, man. I'm 90% win rate. Like we're done.
Yeah, that is baller.
No, but it's very good. I think Voten has a lot of good builds out of the moment. There's a lot of WTC lists of Votan that are very interesting, that have taken in interesting ways. But
Yep.
I do think people have gravitated towards this Hearthguard 1 point and Nidguard 2 point. It's just, it gives you the versatility, it gives you this damage output, it gives you the survivability, which is just so good that even if it's playing this very fair Warhammer game, it's just super efficient output. Like almost like you're always just punching a little bit above weight every single interaction, which just helps you push out the game.
Yep. Especially in the I think just priority assets just really helps with that there as well, right? Like you want to be like playing kind of the positive side of fair 40k, and I think Votan just does that so well in that matchup. And you have enough idiot pieces with the Jaegers, especially Jaegers that have their reactive moves, so they force your opponent even closer to you to really deal with them, like stuff like that. It's just really handy.
Oh yeah, and especially you put out warriors or Jaegers onto the point. It's like 5 OC, 10 OC that can reactive, and it's like, what are you putting out onto response? This unit is like 50 points, 45 points in some cases. It's like there's nothing you're putting out there that I don't think is a fair trade, and that I can't just shoot from like a pretty safe angle in my deployment zone.
Yeah, it's crazy, especially with the maps. Yeah, like it's hard to hide some of your stuff. Like the land forts can be a bit awkward to hide on some of the deployments, but like being able to just like kind of like shoot your opponent from your deployment zone can't feel bad with Votan, right? Like,
oh yeah. Well, I think that was one of the things I found interesting about a lot of the games as they sort of ironed out, was that it would be hard to put the 1/4 I had, which I sort of feel like I wish I had to. Is that if I wanted to be aggressive, it could be sniped pretty easy. There were some angles, but if I wanted to put it into a position to touch a terrain piece to see the middle objective, that was super achievable. So it's very much like, I'm going to put stuff onto the middle objective, you're going to come forward and touch it, and then the fort is going to come out and touch that sort of terrain piece that sees the middle and still get efficient stuff while still being pretty far back. I'm going to be pretty far away from it getting charged, so I just have to watch out for anti-tank. If the fort can take out that anti-tank, it's even better. And then that was, I found, really efficient.
Nice. Oh, awesome, man. Cool. Now that the WATC is done, let's talk about the upcoming event that are slightly more known, slightly more famous, the WTC. So we're not going to go over all the different lists. I have a video that I go over one list for every faction on the channel. You can go and have a look at that. I only get some rules wrong in that, especially the GSC one, which I think is the funniest thing to get wrong as well. So but yeah, also I do put a little caveat there, is halfway through doing that one, my wife comes in and was like, the oven's on fire, so I had to run out and like actually put out the oven, and then had to come back. I was like, cool, I'll finish this off now. So maybe a little bit frazzled, but to be fair, I'd already gotten like half the rules wrong before that point, so I can't really use it as my defense.
Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that.
Yeah. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through a bunch of the different comps, talk about the 8 factions that they've picked, the dispositions that they've picked, and kind of just give it a rating. We'll give it a power rating, and we'll give it an aura rating as well, because that's just more fun. Because some of the comps are like pretty like high in aura, so we gotta like shout them out where we can. So
high in aura, low in power, the binge warmer's way.
Yeah, very much so. So I'm just going to, I'll post in chat. This is the site, which is listhammer.info/WTC. So I'll flip over to this now, and hopefully our audio still works. Looks like it is. Excellent. And yeah, so we're just going to go through a bunch of the different teams comps and just give them a rating. Where do you want to start, team? Tate, where are you feeling?
Shall we start with? Okay, there's two schools of thought. There's there's three. There's France defending champs. There's Australia because I think that's the most interesting, or there's New Zealand because New Zealand podcast. What are we feeling?
Let's do France. I think France is a cool one. Yeah. So let's start with France. So England, France. There we go. Boom. So for their factions, we have Chaos Demons, Emperor's Children, Necrons, Orcs, World Eaters, Space Marines, Leagues of Votan, and Chaos Space Marines. We can go. I can explain the detachments as well if we need to, but for the base pack, I think that's pretty interesting. One really interesting thing that I found here is no Death Guard when they have like the best Death Guard player in the world. I thought that was quite notable of a thing.
I thought that was Frankie.
You just thought that was who? Frankie. That's crazy. Alban is like known to be like basically the best Death Guard player, and he is playing the Warptide Legion of Excess Chaos Demons list, which I think is pretty interesting, right? Like, obviously they thought there was a weakness with Death Guard or it didn't fill on the comp, and that's one thing you just have to be as flexible with a pilot, right? Is they need to be able to pivot to something else when your faction isn't good enough. So, kind of interesting.
I will say the Legion of Excess Warptide list is something that I think a lot of teams have taken and is rated pretty highly. Took me by very much surprise. Like, when I thought of demons, I was very much in the like 18 blood crushes is the sort of list I've been heard, and cool. And you know we've local friends like Ash who's like, oh, Plague Legion is doing really well for me. So I'm like, oh, there's maybe something there. And then be like, Legion of Excess. Like, I remember when this was broken. I thought this was just nerfed into oblivion and never to be seen the light of day.
Yeah. I think the main thing with it is the change to how Fights First works now is like you can manipulate it to always make it sure it benefits you, which is actually pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Because like if you're only charging with one thing, you can turn off your Fights First because you still get to pick first. And then you can also like toggle it off in specific scenarios so you always get like the positive outcomes. Because sometimes Fights First can be like a negative, but now you can just always make sure it's like a positive for you because you can just turn off with your units that already have Fights First. That's pretty powerful.
Yes. And with like Warptide existing as well, right? Because all these lists are playing 60 advanced and charged demonettes, which is just not so. Yeah.
I will say I strongly support that whole like being able to toggle off the fight first. There was a lot of games on the weekend where, you know, I had the champion and like 4 Hearthguard engaged with like Gaz or a knight, and it's like, cool, man. If you charge over here, you have to fight here first, which does mean I'm going to get to activate with the champion first, and I'm probably going to kill you. So either you don't charge and you get to try and hit there first, but then you're not tagging all of this other stuff, and always put a lot of people into a bind.
Yeah. It's even like with heroics as well, because heroics gives fight first. Sometimes that can actually mean the sequencing goes against you in some ways. You're like, so like it's just kind of funny. Well, like heroics very strong, don't get me wrong, but like sometimes like, oh, now I have fights first, so now I have to pick this unit first, and I can't pivot to this one over here. The only way you can get around it is if you still have counteroffensive CP, and you can then choose to counteroffensive instead. But it makes it a very like command point intensive like plan if that's your plan to kind of do all those stages. But what do we think of this 8-pack? I think it is not nearly as aggressive as I thought France would be. I think because I thought the meta at the moment is like super aggressive. It's super killy. And like, I feel like quite a few of these lists are quite defensive. The Warhorde list is like, it's powerful, but it is designed to be like a melee blunter list, right? The Creations of Bile is like very aggressive, but it's also kind of, it just stages, and then it has like if your opponent doesn't play the game, they win, but they won't win by a huge amount, right? And it's also like pretty lean. The Shadowmark Talon's pretty similar as well. The Space Marines, where it's like
I think this is more. Sorry,
there you go,
Ollie. Oh, I was gonna. This reads to me as way more like counter meta, right? Because they have all this like counter Warptide, counter Orcs. Like there's a lot of this like Horde infantry clear, a lot of fight on death.
Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting. So I think they've gone a little bit away from what you'd typically expect to see from France and more gone to this trying to kind of like predict. And I also think that like in a weird way they've cooked a little less this year as well, aside from the world leaders list.
The roadies list is
Yeah,
just
like,
absolutely cooked, but
Uh,
yeah.
I think I was more. What I was going to sort of say is that it feels like different levels of definitions of aggression. Because when I look at these lists, I'm like, well, there's like 30 world eaters, terminators. The CSM is taking like 9 mutilators and terminators. It's like the Votan list is 3 land forts and 15 bikes. It's like that's not like these lists are not feeling defensive. Like they're feeling like they're very crazy. But I do agree that like it's going to be super interesting. Obviously, France is the 2-time back-to-back champions, right? So you can never undersell. But a lot of their lists seem super overcooked to me. Like it feels like they've like pressure cooked it, and they've come out with some wacky stuff, which might just be like it just falls over to standard stuff. Like I think especially with what I think they've got a lot of pins for melee armies. But if someone's like, I've got 3 shooting lists, it's like, oh, yeah, I just die. Or it's like it almost feels like maybe they're going, we're going to try and counter melee, and we're going to rely on hidden, protect us from shooting armies. But I think a lot of shooting armies that are good have figured out ways around hidden. Like,
Yep.
so
my comment on that is I have watched, and to be fair, not a lot, but I have watched people play both the COB and the World Eaters list, and obviously you never know how the people that design these are going to play it. But I've watched them play into what you would assume is not their intended target, like not orcs and not like another melee pressure list, and they actually seem fine in those gunline matchups because the raw amount of pressure just looks like it means the gunlines don't get onto the board until it's too late.
Right.
Like they're just playing the table and catch up, and then they get like their 8. And that's fine for your list not playing what it's hunting, if that is what's going to happen. But yeah.
To be fair, the World Eaters 30 list, I think we saw the Space Wolf Wolfguard list like of 30 Wolfguard do well, and this World Eaters have access to +1 to charge just as well, along with a bunch of other melee stratagems. So it's like this feels like it could 100% still cook a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
We're just going to see Megalith. Well, the thing with that list, because my mate plays 20 World Eaters Terminators sometimes. I've played against it quite a bit. It's a shooting list as well. Like it's mixed arms. It's not pressure. So it can play those. Like the horde clear on the Terminators is crazy. Like it'll just like lift 20 orc boys.
Oh yeah. With the cleave strat, it's just like you kill anything.
I also was just having a look at Olivier's list. I also I thought Dean Sinbeck liked Terminators. Like he's got 20 Librarian Terminators as well. Like this is just Team Terminator.
There's so many Terminator lists at WTC. Like they're like these things are like cranked apparently because so many teams have feels like maximum amount of Terminators that's like reasonable. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's probably all the time we should probably put onto one country though. So power ranking, out of 10, what are we thinking?
Hard to say. Like I'm gonna go with like a 8, but that's a conservative guess. Like
it's like on paper strong, but I don't know how it will translate in pairings. Like I think that's the thing. So yeah, I would say like 8.5 is where I'm kind of thinking. Obviously, all of them outstanding, amazing players. If we're putting like player skill into it, but every team's bringing their best foot forward, right? So it's kind of like hard to put that into account. What are your thoughts, Ollie?
I think I'm gonna go 9. I'm gonna say 9. I think that France is a country that has proven time and time again that like they overcook, but they put their players through a gauntlet. Like if rumors are to be believed, they just told people like pick a disposition. We're gonna make you go crazy into like 20 other people, reps and reps and reps and reps and reps.
Yeah.
And then these are the lists that emerged as like the best of those sort of dispositions. So it's like we'll see. I also think that part of these skews is player skill, right? Like if they can probably make up some of the weakest aspects of this with player skill, and you don't get higher than France playing skill. I think some other teams that might have overcooked this would probably fall in that regard and not be able to make it up. But I do trust. I think every one of these players, they've got the mindset to go and switch up.
Oh, yep. Okay, so that'll average it out to an 8.5 for the ranking. And now for the aura, I'm going to say, apart from the World Eaters, the aura is actually pretty low on this. It's kind of like everything's pretty stock standard for a lot of it. So I'm going to give it like a 6.5 for aura, maybe up to a 7 because of the World Eaters, but it's pretty low. I feel
you got to include the World Eaters. I feel like when the aura, to me, it's pretty high. I think the aura is like an 8, only because when lists started coming out, the things I was first got was like, have you seen the Votan list? It's 3 4 15 bucks in prosecution. It's like, okay. I was like, have you seen this 3 1.30 World Eaters list? No one's been playing 3 1 points. And those are a lot of the things that I've been hearing about. To be fair, I also hadn't been hearing about their other lists. They seem pretty standard. But even Olivier, he's bringing like Shadow Talent. He's bringing Raven Guard, which also I don't think has been massively on the radar for a lot of Space Marine builds.
Yeah, I agree. 8.5 for aura, because it's like 4 and 4, right? You have 4 boring lists, and then you have like World Eaters. You got Triple Mutilator, Votan, and Raven Guard. So there are a heap of cooks in there as well.
That's fair. Okay, yeah, okay. I'll settle for like an 8.5. I think overall rating.
Just again looking, Olivia's bringing heavy bolter eradicators. Like
they're good. They're actually genuinely quite good.
Yeah.
Those units are just super efficient for that points. They just kill like more than 80 points worth of trash.
Yeah, I've just never seen bolter eradicators. It's always been melted. So I'm like, I didn't even know this profile existed.
Yeah, when you can give them oath, they're just they just kill like 120 point, 150 point unit like pretty consistently. It's pretty crazy. They're pretty good. Sweet. So should we do Aussie next then? And then we'll finish on we'll do a couple more and then we can finish on New Zealand. So we've got Aussie next. So for Team Comp, we have Blood Angels, Tyranids, Orcs, Adeptus Sororitas, Death Guard, Necrons, Adeptus Custodes, and Chaos Demons. And for the most part, none of them will be the detachments that you think that they should be.
Or the disposition. Like, if it's the right detachment, it's the wrong disposition. That's the...
Yeah, no, you're definitely right there. So we got the Blood Angels is Headhunter Task Force and Incarmine Speartip, which is the Sanguinary Guard 1-pointer. And then like the Tyranids are Synaptic Nexus with Ambush Predators. The Orcs are Mordecai, pretty commonly taken with Speedwar. They're the only ones that take it. Pretty solid. The Sisters is Penitent Host, which is just fucking baller. With Sacred Champions for the Sacrosanct buffs. They have Death Guard, which is very not very popular of a faction to even take. With Paragons of Putrescence and Taliban Summoners, the one you can take demons. They have their Necrons has Hand of the Dynasty and Obeisance Phalanx, which is again pretty unique combination there. Their Custodes is Lions with Might of the Moritoi. That one's a bit more vanilla for sure. And then the Chaos Demons is Plague Legion with the Cavalcade of Chaos for the mounted stuff. So all pretty some of them half of it's common, but the other half is just completely out there. You just wouldn't expect it. So Tate, what are your overall thoughts on this team comp?
It's so hard to say. Like Australia does this a lot though. So and it typically pays off for them. It's definitely what Australia is known for. I was chatting to Ryan before I jumped on the call, and he said, "How well do you think Australia is going to do this year?" And I was like, "I feel like it's podium or they're going to bomb. Like it's one or the other." I have no idea. I know a few of these lists were played at a really big GT here recently and did really well.
Yep.
Obviously that's a bit of a singles context. It's good players. But yeah, they've clearly got a plan for this. It's just whether or not it pays off. The other really interesting thing I think with a couple of these is I think the players were playing really similar archetypes in 10th at ATC. So it's you got to wonder if they've sort of done almost similar to what you were saying with France, as this is your thing, practice from, because I know they've been practicing from, like well before 11th released. So yeah, I would see if it works, I guess. And in terms of aura, it's a clear 10. Like it's an 11 for aura.
Yeah.
I think the aura would be a 9 until Hackett's list, which is you're like, oh, it's probably some take it like Awakened Dynasty or like some normal Necrotech and hold, and then you look at it and you go, Praetorians are still a thing, and he's taking 30 of them.
Yeah.
And he's taking like, three units of Psychomancers leading warriors, like
10-man warriors.
Yeah.
What?
like with the battle shock thing, it's like, and 3 Ghost Arcs. So it's a very crazy list, but it's obviously designed to just live through just absolutely everything. It's going to score the points.
Yep.
It's going to be really efficient.
It's crazy.
So,
To be fair, the amount of battle shocks that army brings out is just actually obnoxious. It's like, you're battle shocked, do a test, you pass, okay, do another one. I passed it, do another one. And then if they pass that in the shooting phase, they can do another 3. It's like, what? Like it's mad.
It's all there's a through, or not all, but a lot of them, there's a through line of they chuck out a heap of battle shocks. So I do wonder if there's like a backup plan of stuff starts going wrong, start trying to scam. Like
yeah. They're very much things that are like, oh, battle shock lasts the entire game now. Awesome. We're going to pay you into the leadership 7 army, and you're just going to like have an absolute field day. I do know the speed war list. I know a very notable player like Alex Terrison, who is friends with Eric, was playing this a lot. He took a break for a bit, and so I came back. So I'm sure they also probably cooked that this was really good. They're like 18 death copters, 3 damage, right? Like that list is great into Terminators.
Yeah, all those Terminator lists that are just like yum 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 yum.
Yeah, it is very good. If they brought that with the intention of there's probably going to be a lot of Terminators, then they have clocked it so well.
Yeah, and just how aggressive that list can be as well. Like, it can literally have its entire army on your opponent's deployment zone turn 1. Like, it's like just 24-inch move, advance and shoot is like a hell of a drug. And the trucks being able to get it is just very funny.
Yeah, Take to the Skies turns the death copters on, eh? Like it's crazy in that detachment. Yeah.
Yep.
Straight line's never been so easy.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Yeah, so definitely some really cool lists here. The most vanilla list of them all is the Custodians, because it is like just generic 15 Terminator, like 15 Alaris. It's like I think there's like 10 teams that have basically the exact same list. So I'm like, it's like if you look at the list, you're like, wow, that's pretty skew, and then you see so many of them, and you're like, okay, maybe this was a little bit more solved. Yeah.
Which could be more of a like home, so it just feels that Eric's list is not that inventive to me. If you said, oh, Eric's like playing, like what do you think he's going on? I'd probably go, oh, it's probably Synaptic Nexus. It's probably going to be like a bunch of Hormagaunts, like Gaunt Carpet style. He'll take a couple Maleceptors.
Yep.
He'll probably take a Tyrannofex, and I'd be like, he might not take Morlocks, but maybe he will.
Yeah.
Because of they mesh very well with Synaptic Nexus and what it wants to do.
Yeah.
And then look at his list, and that's basically just what it is. I think
Eric's, because if you look at their both their disruption lists are real battle shock heavy. I think that's just the thing, right? Because he's the only player playing ambush predators with Synaptic Nexus, and I think the idea with that is the Neuros get deep strike, so you drop the Morlocks and the Neuros same turn, and you just have +1 to wound across the board, and you have the option of, oops, you failed too many battle shocks, you get all in. So I think like in terms of the units that are in the list, maybe it's not that interesting, but in terms of like what the strategy actually is, it's pretty different to the other NIDS lists.
That 100% could be very much the play, right? I think it is interesting to see how that gets used. I actually didn't think of that, right? Like I always thought like, oh, Neuroleptus will just get deployed and try and battle shock early on, but if he's keeping them in reserve for that moment to drop in the Morlocks. And Morlocks, I do really like, because sometimes they're 130 points for like 14 wounds at a 3-up, like toughness.
It's crazy,
or something, right? It's like if you drop all 3 and then you're moving up with the Hormagaunts and stuff, they're like, cool, man, what are you gonna kill? Like, You probably kill 2 Morlocks. Probably can't kill the third. Then you don't kill all the Gaunts, and then Swarm Lord and Acid Effects just comes in and ruins your day.
Yep. No, absolutely. I think, yeah, you can put some like real like harsh pressure on like turn 2 or 3, where like you shadows, you send the acid spray effects out, burn something, have it pinned so they can't put anything forward without getting Overwatch. 3 Morlocks down on one flank, which just mortals something to death, and then there's just like a bunch of chunk there as well. Like, I think that's quite powerful. Also, being able to put down the Morlocks during your movement phase. So if there's like an idiot somewhere, you can just put one down and then kill like something that might be doing a move block and then be able to move. Is like kind of powerful as well. So like the Morlocks, I think, have like a little bit more gas than they like did in 10th potentially, like just because there's a little bit more use.
It's the Nexus, right? Because you can do the 1 CP when something fails a battle shock, it gets 3 up grenaded.
Yeah.
So that gives you the option to do that in the movement phase and then further clear space. Like it's much more consistent space clearing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, you could like probably kill like a fort with the 3 of them. With the like by the time it fails like a battle shock, you do the grenade strat and then you do all the other mortals. You could get it down to like 2 or 3 wounds left and like cool. Like this thing is now just dead.
Yeah.
Like some pretty cool stuff you can do. Like being able to do damage in the movement phase is very powerful. So especially on a talented player, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that goes. Yeah, so we know this is max aura. Like they're aura farming with the list. Even if they come dead last, they're at least aura farming. So
I think they lose already if they come dead last because the arrogance of doing this and then coming last is crazy.
Yeah.
No, to be honest, I think if they come anything but like top 10, there is major aura loss, right? Like there is. I don't think they will. I think they will probably podium.
Yep.
They're very skilled. They have been practicing a ton. But yeah, if you don't come top 10 with this list, it just is like, oh, you're just out of touch. Super arrogance, mega aura loss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like that the meme where it's the guy that he's like shaking the champagne and he's like biting his medal and then he's like in 10th place.
yeah, very much it's that, right? Like
cool. But what about like overall power level though? Like of the 8 together, how they can pair with it, how it like fits into the meta at WTC. I think they do have some really good answers to like the orc list. They have some really good answers to melee pressure. But they also have quite a lot of like fast guns as well. So they kind of also answer that where France doesn't really have that. I think they do kind of answer the be able to have fast gun a bit more. So I would give it like quite a strong, like I'd say like 8.5 because I think they cover all their bases really well.
All these lists also look really hard to push into, which is I think an interesting thing to have because we all talked about how we think like more aggressive pairings at more aggressive play patterns, all those kinds of things are going to be stronger.
Yep.
Like all these sort of weird defensive stat checky battle shock lists are way harder to put up a consistent score into and harder to matrix as well.
Yep.
So that's interesting.
Definitely. Cool. So what are your guys' scores for this one for power?
Mine is an 8. And I think I really just think I think there's a lot of power that's here, but it also, as someone who has played Plague Legion, as I'm sure people have known of playing into Battleshock armies, you can just pass leadership. And I do wonder what happens if they go into a team and they're like, yeah, we tried to Battleshock him and he passed just every leadership test, and then none of this actually worked.
Mate, Krakens. That's why they're there.
And it's just a case of like I'm sure battleshocking isn't the full plan outside of NIDS, which I think it's very lean in there. These lists I think do want to battleshock, and if they just can't, if the Plague Legion never gets to get off a battleshock, if the Necrons never get to do that as well, then they lose a bit of steam, and what might have been like a 16 becomes a 13. What might have been like a 14 becomes a 10 suddenly. Like, it's not like they're going to lose, but they lose just a few points. And if that happens everywhere, it's just cool. That's the draw instead of the win.
Yeah, or like the loss against France or something, right? If it happens in those like pivotal rounds, right? Like,
absolutely,
definitely. That's fair. That's very fair. Tate, what about yourself? What's your score?
I'm going to continue my strong oral tradition of copying Ollie and go in with an 8. That's
powerful. I do love a strong oral tradition. Let's do one more team before we do New Zealand. Is there any teams that we think maybe USA? They've got they're a pretty popular comp.
Yeah, because we got to give someone a 3 for Aura, so let's do
very
USA.
true. If Neapolitan ice cream was a WTC team.
Just as a really quick one, I want to throw out there the India-Pakistan is a 10 for Aura. I will not explain, but the India-Pakistan is a 10.
Damn.
Is it list names? Because the list names are bangers.
It's the team name and the list name. Incredible Aura. Hopefully this bridges diplomacy and creates new prosperity between the countries.
Dream. Oh, cool. So yes, we have Team USA, Team Vanilla. We have Emperor's Children playing Frenzied Host and Carnival Excess. We have Chaos Demons with Legion of Excess Warp Tide. Orcs with Freebooter Crew Equatorial Hordes. Custodies with Lions and Might of the Moritoi. We have Dark Angels with Company of Hunters and Dark Flight Pursuit. We have Chaos Space Marines with Packbound Zealots. Astra Militarum with Bridgehead Strike and Siege Regiment. And Necrons with Cursed Legion and Skyshroud Spearhead. Oh. Yeah, I think the only kind of like really notable one here is Astra Militarum with the Bridgehead Strike and Siege Regiment. A couple of teams did take this, but it is very more niche than I guess the rest of the picks. Most of these picks are at least seen in one or two other armies, countries.
It also taking 5 to finalists seems crazy.
Yeah, it's very telegraphed. Like it's people gonna be so ready. Like it's yeah. I also think Pact Bound is like it's interesting. Like it still does a thing, but it's really plottable. And I know it's a thing that a lot of other teams have actively considered and discarded. So it's that's interesting.
I feel like that one's a pivot because Sam Pope is obviously like a Tyranids main, and maybe they pivoted him onto it before the patch happened, and then it was like, I don't have time. Tyranids still aren't aren't what we're gonna take. I think you just have to lock into it. Like we just change the list and like get it to work. But maybe that was just like the thought process there instead of doing like a harsh pivot right at the end and only having a couple of weeks to practice before going over. Like potentially there was something
which
there.
Is interesting, right? Because I feel the general consensus has been that Tyranids are in a pretty good spot and are one of the 2 or 3 armies in the game that actually wants to play Disruption and can actually play it. So it's like very interesting that it's like big Sam Pope Tyranid guy, and he's like, nah, not gonna do this.
Yeah,
we're gonna get Astra Militarum for Disruption.
Yeah.
I'm curious if like maybe just like within like the training, like it just didn't work. It just didn't fall into like what he practiced into, and then it just kind of like put your mindset negatively for it, and it just kind of went from there, right? Like if he's the main person, he's saying, I've just lost my last 7 games because but maybe it was just because he played into poor matchups. But like that thing can kind of like negatively affect. And then if someone just looks at the spreadsheet with the games in it and is like, oh, 7 games in a row, or I don't know how many games, whatever amount of games, like, oh, these are all losses or like close games. Like we need something that can push. Let's push you off that and go on to something a bit more aggressive, which Packbound Zealots definitely is. Like I don't know, but it does seem like it's an odd pick now. There is a couple of armies a couple of countries that have it, but it does seem like a bit of an odd choice there. And like nothing else here is like super duper exciting. Like the Freebooter crew is pretty generic. The Warp Tide Legion of Excess we've already talked about. The Carnival list is so lean. Like Anthony Vanilla's list is like crazy lean. It's triple Defiler, like 2 units of Demonettes, 2 units of Seekers. Like it is like, if you can deal with those, it's like the Defilers just get so much worse. Like if you can hunter them down, it just punishes the list so much. So you have to kind of like weirdly play defensive with them, whereas like you just don't have the extra trash pieces that you kind of need. So it's just kind of playing like a gunline army instead of like a EC army, which feels very odd.
I also imagine that's probably like 3rd defending or something. And then it just gets to just be stat check 0 or a rubbish. And he gets the 20. Like
Mm.
Yeah.
It's pretty. Yeah, he's going to end up with like 100+ points, and we're like, no. Now everyone's going to start taking this to singles, and it's just going to be a super unfun time. We've got comments in chat. Shout out to Ollie, the OG table boy. Hell yeah. Thanks, Bonjordo. Absolutely banger. But yeah, like this, there's just nothing like super exciting here, right? Like aura wise, this is just like mega low. Like the Bridgehead Strike, I think the fact that it's Wesley on it, like Nemo is on the Bridgehead Strike Siege Regiment list, I think that's going to be like, this could be a cook. Like, and like maybe just him being so good with guard, he's just going to absolutely fry people with it. But yeah, I just don't know.
I think
like,
it's also noticeable that one of the USA collab teams also took that list.
Yep.
So it's I'd be very interested to see how it goes, because clearly two teams think there's something there, irrespective of the player at least. So yeah.
For sure. Yeah. It is like notable that apart from like Sam Pope and Zach Point, I think everyone's on their like main faction. Which is kind of interesting here. Like everyone's on like their like obviously Vanilla is like World Eaters and EC, but like he's been EC for a very long time now. But, like everyone else is kind of just like on the factions that they like main. So I wonder if there was like a big emphasis on get reps with like the thing that you want to play. Maybe there was like a little bit of push there, but again, I don't know. I'm just speculating here, but it seems interesting that all the main people that are playing that main faction.
Which I think is good. I think that's where you want to go, especially the start of 11th edition. You know, where a lot of the meta is going to be defined by this event. You know, play the factions you're strong with, play the factions you gel with. I think is very important.
Yeah.
I know Team Oz is like that a lot. Dan Savage is a demon player. Josh Woods is Death Guard. Warren plays Orcs. You know, Arachon Nibs and so forth. And I don't think I've ever seen David Kern not play Blood Angels.
Yeah, nice. I'm just trying to find New Zealand here, and we'll go on to our last team comp.
The big boys.
Which is the big boys themselves. Half these people are in a plane right now. I was talking to Matt Venwick right before the podcast started, and I was like, oh, are you in Singapore yet? He's like, no, still on the plane. I was giving him recommendations of what to watch. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It's cool that the boys are on their way over there. But so for team, we have Orcs, Dreadmob, Mordaka. We have Emperor's Children, Frenzied Host, and Carnival of Excess. Chaos Demons, Blood Legion, Cavalcade of Chaos. Tyranids, Invasion Fleet. Necrons, Curse Legion, Skyshroud, Spearhead. Dark Angels, Librarius Conclave, Company of Hunters. Custodes, Lions and Might. And we have Admech, Lords of the Forge, and Rad Zone Core. Pretty like a couple of like unique takes, and then a few kind of like of the obvious picks. So kind of a good mix of fresh ideas and some just standard. This is obviously very strong, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little bit. It's slightly more vanilla than France, but it's kind of a similar thing in that they have a core of like you got the Sky Shroud, the Carnival. Those are like really strong, and then the Custodes, those are like the really strong sort of base lists, and then you have some sort of like slightly weirder stuff as well. I think it's really good. I think the Orcs list is going to be interesting. Like it's very swingy, but the damage is really high. So that it can just table someone and just pressure someone off the board. It's going to be great. Sky Shroud, Curse Legion, just good. Crushers, just good. Carnival, good. The Toby's list, I'm really interested to see what happens with it. Like I think it's weird because I think they've got a lot of like Redeemers love fallback and shoot. They love advance and shoot, really strong. Advance and charge, +2 move. Deathwing Knight's really strong, but they have leaned away a lot from what makes Company of Hunters really strong. And it could be that's enough. Like getting that double advance and charge Deathwing Knights, the like freedom of movement for the Redeemers is really strong. I'm really interested to see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really solid in terms of power as well, actually, because like even the lists that are a lot more off the wall are strong. And then you have your sort of same solid base. So I'd say this is an 8 in both categories for me. And I'm
Nice.
aware I've put nearly everything as an 8,
Yeah.
except for Team USA's 3 for Aura. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree with you for the most part. I think that I'm surprised not as many NIDS players took Invasion Fleet because it just seems very stable and very
It's good.
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously it has to be taken hold, which I think is maybe why the reason some teams didn't take it, because they had 2 taken hold lists that they already wanted, so trying to slot in NIDS into it maybe was the difficult part, but it just seems so strong. You have so much flexibility. The 20 Horma
No.
units are just nuts. The just the hyper rev units just crank out damage, and then having that 5-up Feel No Pain access is just like, it makes them such a slog to get through. John's been absolutely nailing people with this list, so I really look forward to seeing how he goes for this this coming week, because like I think he's going to be an absolute menace.
Yeah, and there's the double hyper revs is such sauce. Like I stole that and put it into my GSC list. Like it's so good.
Yeah. And your opponent's like I just can't screen. It's like, yeah, like you either have to stay the entire army back, or like it's just a nightmare. You kind of just have to allow it to hit one side and just like choose the side, and like maybe set up heroics is like the only thing you can do. My favorite, it's just cool. It's a very fun list. It's very John list as well. Like I'm glad that he got to take the list over there. Like, one, that he kind of made himself, and 2, that like it plays the way that he likes playing. So I really rate that.
I 100% agree. Like John being able to take the nids that he wants to play and not go, you're on taking on nids, you need to bring 3 Norns. Like, like like I think there's a lot of pressure on, like, you got to take this Nexus like Norn list, like, and just make the unkillable Norns, and that's not how John wants to play. And I think he would have a very miserable time if it's like, yep, I just moved the Norn onto the middle, and I just have to hope I win by dice, so then move on. But yeah, the 5-up Feel No Pain, the 5-up crits is just so nuts. Like, it makes the Hormagaunts do crazy damage. The Hyper Ravs will just one tap just anything, and then they live the next turn. It's I think it's going to be very good.
Very cheeky. Yeah. We've also got like, I'm just like, my heart's in it for a few of these players, like seeing like Care and stuff. Like I'm super. I just hope that boy gets on stream, because I think that would be hype. Seeing, hearing Care like sing on stream will be like the highlight of my year.
Yeah.
Hearing Care sing real noises on stream, it's going to be golden.
Oh man, I'm so
having get mic'd up on the France stream, stimming during the other players, become a national icon in France overnight, I think.
Yeah, mate. Get him a chessboard so he can play chess next to the board. Be absolutely baller, mate.
Pulls out the Switch, just like, oh sorry, I've just got my like island to look after right now.
Yeah. My favorite thing that he does is he just like walks away. Like he's like, cool, you just do you. I don't have any reactive moves, and he just walks away and just like looks at everyone else's games. Like it's so funny. He's like, yeah, I'm cool. Like you do what you need to.
Like he told me he was going to do that. He's like, I'm going to go watch the Australian Sisters list. I was like,
so good.
It's so funny because we've been over, Chris, and there's always the like weird like other coaches from other teams would come over to try and scout how it's going. It would be Aura. If it's like, oh, are you a coach from New Zealand? Like, no, I'm a player. I'm in a game right now. I hope the clock isn't on me, but I just want to come over here and see what's going on.
No, you just go, I'm so confident it's a 20 that I left. Like,
big. Yeah.
Put the fear of God in people.
Yeah.
Now he's going to farm some mega Aura on next week, and it's going to be super sick. But also like seeing Kobe, seeing like Matt play, see Michael and John be playing this year because they were coaches last year. Like I think it's going to be really cool just to see how everyone performs together. It's going to be really exciting. I played on the ANZTC team with John, Matt, and Michael, so I'm really excited to see how they can keep that same performance up on the world stage after traveling for ANZTC earlier this year. So that'll be really cool. I think power wise, I'm going to give it a 7.5, and then Aura. It would be an 8, but John's on the team, so a 7.5.
Oh, got him.
Oh,
Yeah.
John, do not watch. Disclaimer. I'm gonna give 7.5 as well. I think there's some cool lists, but it's I think there's more standard. Aura is an 8 unless Kira gets on stream and starts stimming, in which case it's a 9.5. It's like easiest 9.5 in my life.
Yeah. Nah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to shout out the hypothetical aura of if Kier had been playing Storm Surge Tiger Shark, it would have been a 12 for aura. Like, that's insane. Power's a hard one. I think I think 7.5 probably, like, it's solid, it's strong, there's no like weak point, but there's nothing that I'm like, oh, this is gonna like slam. I know they're all very excited for the Blood Legion.
Yep.
We'll see, I guess.
Definitely.
And yeah, Aura, I'm gonna give it a strong 9 because it has the Kobe double Redeemer, double Deathwing Knights, which is the greatest aura you can find.
Yep.
So
him T-posing with Deathwing Knights and like Redeemers on your home field turn 2.
it's got turn 1, Kobe rolls a 6 on his Redeemer, calls you a cunt, and then just moves that thing 18 inches up the board. Like, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, at 10 a.m. with a beer in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Kobe lets you re-rack because he's so pissed. Is what's gonna happen.
Dream. Okay.
Sorry, Ollie.
Yeah.
No, all good. I just agree. I agree. Hitting the 6 on the advance, just slamming the Redeemer up, and just being like, "Yep, cool. I'm going to tailor you now."
Yeah, it's
like
just
brace yourself.
Yeah, it's coming. Okay, cool. Those are all the compositions we're gonna go over. So now what I want from you guys is I want your podium. Who do you think is gonna come first, second, and third? And I want specifically first, second, and third. I don't want these 3 will podium. I want you to pick who's winning, who's coming second, who's coming third. I've done some thinking about this, and I am going to go first, so you guys have a couple of seconds to think. I am going to go for France getting the 3-peat. I think it's just going to be hype if it happens. I think it's pretty cool. And then I'm going to say Belgium comes second, and they probably they come out of pod really high, and then they get dumpstered by something, and then they just see the rest of the way and then end up in second. And then I've got a kind of like a bit of a dark horse for my third pick, and do I go for it or do I not? Now
go for it.
It was Austria was my third. It was Austria.
Austria.
Yeah. I think they have like an interesting comp. It's like it's kind of generic, but it's kind of got some interesting stuff in there. Like they've got like knights and stuff, which people aren't really teched for in a lot of the lists. Like so like it's kind of interesting, but that was my thought because I didn't want to give it to Australia because I know the 2 Aussies in this thing are probably going to put them in the podium. So I was like, I can't do that. So that'll be my 3. It'll be France, Belgium, and then Austria. So yeah. Ollie, what are your thoughts?
I agree with France. I think again, like they're already seen as the powerhouse. If they win it a 3rd time, it's just crazy. It's just generational, and I think they've got the capabilities to get the podium. So it'd be France. Second is USA.
Ooh, yep.
Because it's funny. It's pure funny factor. USA consistently has been podiuming. They keep coming second. They can never get first. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And I want that to keep going because that is funny. Like I really don't want them to win. Out of any team, I don't want them to win, but I really want them to podium, right? Like I think they deserve the podium, but it's just way funnier to have them come second.
Yep.
And then third, I think is going to be Australia.
Yep.
I think you have a really strong team. They've been training really hard. They've got some very interesting lists. I think I could see them coming third. And then fourth to New Zealand, obviously.
Based, yeah. Nice. Cool.
Now I have the pressure to pick different picks. Okay, I'll go in reverse. I think. Did you say third for USA, Ollie, or second?
No, second for USA. Third Australia. Second is USA. versus France.
Okay, because I'm going to reverse your second and third because I'm going to go Australia second and I'm going to go USA third because I think like USA has they got really strong players, really strong lists, but I think that the lack of aura is going to let them down and they're going to
that's
drop.
Not really
I
intimidated by
think
their T-pose.
no one is. No one's intimidated by the triple defiler, and Anthony. And then I'm going to go. I'm going to do the one of the two alternate timelines where Australia's cooking does pay off for them, and they go second. And then I'm going to be slightly interesting and say the crazy upset of Sweden in first.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's which sadly means they beat New Zealand in pod, but we'll say it's a very small
I was
win.
going to say, how did they get first when New Zealand's beating them in pod? Like that doesn't.
New Zealand dropped because Kobe had too much to drink. And they can't win without their star player. So that's
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kier was stimming too hard.
Yeah, dropped because chess.com had a tournament on.
Yeah. Magnus was playing next door.
Yeah.
Cool. I think those are some pretty good picks. I think there's so many teams that could podium, so like it's pretty hard to actually get the correct picks there. But I think these are all pretty like understandable picks, right?
A little spicy question off the cuff. Do you have any picks of teams that might move tiers? Like a tier 2 team that might come out of this and become a tier 1 team.
Yep.
Right. Like we've seen that as it's expanded, Scotland, got moved into being a tier 1 team.
Yep.
So like or on the other side, do you think there's any tier 1 teams that you might see go backwards?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. What teams do I think might move a little bit? Just trying to have a look. I think New Zealand will probably stay locked. Even if they do really well, they're probably still locked to tier 2. So I don't think that they can really move because they came 20th last year. So that'll be one of the heavier weighters. So even if they come like 5th this coming year, they're probably still going to be just the best tier 2 team. But it'll give them a really good standing for the following year. So I don't think they'll move. Scotland, I think that really depends on their placing. If they don't hit top 10, they could very much likely get dropped back to tier 2.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about any others really.
I think we'll see how they go. I think what so first I think an easy one that's not controversial is Spain.
Yeah.
They will bump to tier 2 because their team sort of like boycotted last year. But they're bringing their strong team back again. They easily could go back to tier 1. I also think it depends on a lot. Italy could be.
Ooh, yeah.
Italy performed well the last couple of years. If they brought out like a really strong showing, I could see them like moving in to take the sort of like 11th to 10th spot for next year.
Yep. I also think another thing, like Mexico's been consistently coming the last few years and like being the very top end of like tier 3. It'd be cool if they got a high placing this year, like 15th or something, and then become a tier 2 team. I think they probably deserve it. Cool. Like they've been like it's it mustn't be the easiest place in the world to get like consistent games. And I know a lot of the team plays against the USA guys, but like I think that would be a cool team. And New Zealand's played them in pod like 2 out of the 3 years that they've gone. So like I think it'd be quite cool to see them bump up to both be tier 2 teams, so then they can't be in pod together.
Mexico to tier 2 would be huge, right? They're currently tier 4. So
they're tier 4, right?
They're tier 4. So if they go to tier 2, that's like crazy.
They like won. Yeah.
So you probably can't jump 2 tiers, I don't think. You'd have to basically win it. So okay, dropping to tier 3 then.
To be fair, that would be funny, right? You win WTC, you become tier 2. Like based on their metrics, it's like you're still not tier 1. You did win last year though.
Yeah.
And it's only in this year, and America finally wins, and they get dropped to tier 2 because they won. That's
brutal. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know really enough about like exactly where people teams are sitting in multiple different years to really know what.
It's very much off the cuff.
Yeah.
I'll steal your one, Chris, kind of your the NZ's pod seed 3 because I hear Malta has been playing really well, so I'm gonna say Malta goes to seed 2.
Nice. Yeah.
Man, Malta, they're my boys. I love them. Their captain is an absolute Chad. They played really well. I'd love to see them become tier 2. They are absolute legends.
Yep.
Incredible hangout. And very good players. So I'm definitely rooting for Malta. I want to get out of the pod.
Nice. Cool. Okay, well, I think that will be this episode. I was going to do my fantasy league draft, but we're already like 20 minutes over time, and that's probably going to take like another 10, 15 minutes. So I might just make a video about that and do that. But the link for the WTC Fantasy League is in the description of this video. So go fill it out. I'll do mine. I think you have to do, so it's the same rules as like building a team, but you only get 2 players from each seed. So you get 2 tier 1, 2 tier 2, 2 tier 3, 2 tier 4, and you can pick whatever you want from them, but you have to stick to the exact same rules that building a team you would have. So every faction only once, every disposition only twice. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, best of luck for everyone doing theirs. I'm going to be doing mine. I think, let's see if I can remember what I was going to, because I kind of did a quick thought. So before we finish, I had for my seed 4s, I had Lithuania's Chaos Knights player, and then Mexico's Tau Empire Mont Carlist. Red Catalyst. I think they're both pretty baller. Tier 3, seed 3, I had Bulgaria's Emperor's Children, which is playing Disruption, and China's Necrons. Seed 2, I had Matt Van Wyck on his Custodes, New Zealand, because I have to pick a New Zealander, like I kind of just have to. And then I had Haidar, which is Iceland's Admech, is my other seed 2. I'm playing Priority Assets, and then my seed 1s, I had France's World Eaters, because it's just Aura. And I just think it's a sick list. And then Australia, it's Eric with Australia's Tyranids, which is Disruption. Notably, I picked double Disruption, double Purge, which I think is kind of crazy for the 8-pack. But I just kind of tried to think of the lists within each team that would actually be trying to push a little bit, and then a couple of them just kind of had to be certain picks because of what dispositions were left and what factions I had access to still. But yeah, no, so that was that. Do you guys have any other things you want to shout out or say before we finish off for today?
Just tune in to the streams, support the teams.
Yep.
That rhymed. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so for me, don't forget about War Masters. It's always very cool to see what people cook up for that and how that goes. It's still a huge super major right before the event, so plenty of content for next week. But no, I think it'll be very cool to see it. It'll be great when it's over. I always feel like there's all this hype, this build, the secrecy, the list, the meta sort of shifts around this, and then it's done, and everyone's like, all right, everyone can just, we don't have this big thing looming over us. And it's always good to be like, all right, cool, we're back to normal meta stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. No, it's cool, and it'll be fun to see what lists actually transfer over well into singles. It's always very fun, right? So that's absolutely like one of the fun things to kind of be thinking about, and just like understanding how teams are pairing. A lot of the data does get released afterwards. Like the teams will just like show a lot of the data, which is really interesting to see. Like, oh, this was actually designed to do this, which is like very interesting for someone like me. I really enjoy that kind of data. But yeah, cool. With that, then I will figure out how we can end this thing for a bit. And yeah, thank you very much, Ollie, for coming on. I appreciate you spending your time. Congratulations again on the win. Absolutely fucking killer.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me on, both of you guys. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, it was
You are very welcome.
Yeah. And thank you, Tate, for being handsome as always. And with that,
look, I do one thing and I do it okay. Like,
yeah, Mr. Crabvicular. Sweet. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.